What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today Apple released the RC or release candidate build of iOS 18.1. Now along with this update, Apple also released the RC version for iPadOS 18.1, macOS Sequoia 15.1, watchOS 11.1, tvOS 18.1, and visionOS 2.1. But of course in this video we're talking primarily about iOS and iPadOS 18.1. So first off, you can see the size came in at just over 7 gigabytes on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. This will be a large size because we're going from a beta to a final version here with the RC. So that's usual to see a big update size. Let's go and check out the build number for this new update in our settings general about iOS version. The new build is 22B82, and then the modem firmware version is 1.11.01 for the iPhone 16 series. All right, so now what's new here in iOS 18.1 RC? So first off, iOS 18.1 is going to be a massive update for anybody with an iPhone 16 or an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, because we are going to see the first batch, the first round of Apple Intelligence features. So writing tools, we have the new Siri UI. So if you go ahead and press to activate Siri, you can see the new UI there. We also have tap to Siri. So if you tap down here at the bottom, you will see that we get tap to Siri. So that's new in iOS 18.1, not in the RC, but that is something new that's coming for Apple Intelligence, along with the cleanup feature and all those other Apple Intelligence features, which we've already talked about here on the channel. And I will elaborate more on those features in my iOS 18.1 video and future videos as well. But what's new here in the RC version specifically? Because as you guys know, I talk about all the new features in my What's New video, which is coming next week, but I want to talk about what's new specifically here in the RC in this video. So if we go ahead and check out the release notes, Apple actually gives us some insight as to what has been fixed here. And the first thing that caught my eye is that we have a fix for the iPhone 16 or 16 Pro models may unexpectedly restart. So that made headlines late last week about a lot of people having issues with their iPhone 16 just fully restarting or respringing, and it looks like 18.1 will fix that issue. Now this update also adds a massive change for the AirPods Pro 2. So if you go into your AirPods settings, you'll see right away that we have a brand new section for hearing health. So yes, we now finally have the hearing aid feature in iOS 18.1. So we have hearing protection first off, so it now shows loud sound reduction. But the main thing that a lot of people are going to love is going to be the hearing assistance feature. So this is going to allow you to take a hearing test and apply those, results and basically apply amplification to your ears if your hearing is not so good in one or both ears. And the great thing about this is that it also goes to music and videos that you're watching as well. It's not just for day-to-day conversation when you're talking with people with your AirPods in. It will also have media assist right here where it says it can make adjustments that improve the clarity of music, videos, and calls. And you can see that Apple says if you have mild or moderate hearing loss, AirPods Pro can work as a hearing aid to boost voices and sounds around you. And then when you go to take the test, you can see it will give you a little splash screen here telling you to test your hearing, and it gives you some more details about that. And if you go to get started, you will have to provide some details right here and then tap on next, and you will have to place your AirPods in your ears. And this test will take about 10 minutes, and then you will see your results and you can adjust all of your settings accordingly. And you can kind of see what some of these settings will look like inside of your settings application. It's pretty awesome what Apple is doing here. And you can also see this in the health application. So if you go into the browse tab and go to hearing, you'll see it says hearing test results right here. And if you go into that, it will show you the graph. It shows your left average, your right average. You can show more data right here to see little to no loss, mild loss, moderate loss. You can really see a lot of details about your hearing. And of course you do get the prompt here to take the hearing test if you've not done so already, along with more details about the hearing test results and understanding how hearing loss works. And of course you can also add a test. You could use a prior test result here as well. If you want to scan like an audiogram that you had professionally done, you can scan that with the camera and add it into the application itself, add it into your AirPods and the health application itself, which is awesome. Now of course with iOS 18.1 we do also have the connectivity toggles in our control center here. So you no longer need the little platter there for your connectivity. You have all of them separated right here, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, airplane mode, satellite, all of that. So that's nice. And yeah, we do also have some fixes here as well. So there's a big one for the camera. So it says it fixes an issue where videos recorded at 4K 60 while the device is warm could experience stutter while scrubbing the video playback in photos. There's also a fix for digital car keys where they may not unlock or start a vehicle with passive entry after restoring from a backup or transferring directly from another iPhone. There's a fix for podcasts where unplayed episodes are marked as played. There's a fix for Game Center friend invites. There's also, notes about the App Store search that now lets you use natural language to find what you're looking for more easily. And of course, we do also have the notification summaries where you can see your summaries of your notifications on the lock screen and also inside of the messages and mail applications. Also, we have phone call recordings and transcriptions. So that is new in 18.1, and that will be available for all devices. That is where you can record a phone call. Both parties are notified, know that the phone call is being recorded, so it's not going to be sneaky or anything like that. But that is in 18.1. That will be a big feature, I believe. And then also we have spatial photo capture and spatial video capture in the spatial camera mode on the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. And in the code of iOS 18.1 RC, we do see references to a new Magic Mouse, Magic Keyboard, and Magic Trackpad, which should be announced soon, and those should also have USB-C, which will be nice. And then we do also have the drag and drop functionality with iPhone mirroring if you have the latest macOS Sequoia 15.1 and iOS 18.1. That does not require Apple Intelligence. You can drag and drop devices, or drag and drop files rather, between your devices with your iPhone and your Mac, which is awesome. So there's quite a few features that do not require Apple Intelligence here with 18.1. It's not just going to be an update just for the 15 Pro and the iPhone 16s. But of course, those are going to be the headlining features, are the Apple Intelligence features. So let's go ahead and talk about the sticker bug, because I do want to mention that as well. So if we go into our messages here, you can see that my emoji keyboard here is still broken on the RC somehow. So I don't know what happened here, but my stickers are just not showing up. It just shows up as blank. Those are supposed to be stickers, but it does not show up. And this happens mostly in the mail application, but it does also happen in X, for example. You can see right here that I still have that issue there, but in other applications like Apple Music, for example, you can see that everything shows up just fine. And that's because, of course, we don't have any stickers here. It's just the emojis, but you can see it's really just an issue with the stickers and not the emoji themselves. So it works fine in some applications, but anytime stickers are introduced, like in messages or other applications, it's just broken and it doesn't show any of my stickers. Now, as far as the performance goes, performance on the RC version I would expect to be about the same as what we saw with Beta 7. So the RC it typically has better performance than the previous betas, but I think that since we had two back-to-back A builds for Beta 6 and Beta 7, I believe that the RC build of 18.1 is going to be very similar to what we saw on the previous two betas, which is not a bad thing. Performance has been excellent on both Beta 6 and Beta 7, and I am going to run an RC build Geekbench test here to see how it compares to Beta 7. Okay, so we scored a 3441 on the single core and an 8516 on the multi-core. So pretty solid scores there, and it's very similar to what we saw with Beta 7, where I scored a 3474 and an 8640. So very similar scores, and I would expect the performance overall to be very similar to what we saw with Beta 7. Now, as far as the battery life goes, I would expect battery life to slightly improve from Beta 7. That's just typically what Apple does with these RC or these final releases. They do tend to have better battery life. But if you had good battery life in Beta 7, I would not expect it to get any worse. It might get slightly better. But overall for me, 18.1 has had great battery life, like better than 18.0 for sure, and also better than 18.0.1, which is a good sign. Now, if you're wondering if you should update to the RC build of iOS 18.1, I think it's pretty safe. I mean, I think it's a good time to go ahead and update, especially if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or iPhone 16 series. You're going to get a lot of new features with this update. And also if you have the AirPods Pro 2, you'll get the new hearing aid feature, which is really nice to have and play around with as well. Now, keep in mind, if you do install the RC, you're not likely going to see an update next week with the general public, because usually the RC is going to be the exact same as the final release in terms of the build number and everything. So technically you're already on the version that's going to be released next week. But of course there is an asterisk there, because if Apple does put a new build number on 18.1, you will see a new update if you're on the RC, but it's not going to really add anything new, most likely. It's just going to be a small change in the build number. Now, as far as what to expect next, let's go ahead and look at the calendar here. So next week is going to be the last week of October. October 28th is when I would expect to see Apple release iOS 18.1 to the public, along with all the other software updates. So we should see that on Monday, the 28th. Now, as far as 18.2 beta 1, we could see that potentially, the next day or even the same day. That would be the earliest that I think we can see 18.2 beta 1. So that is possible to come next week as well, but we're not going to see the final release of that until sometime in most likely mid-December. And then keep in mind, this Wednesday, we do also have the new iPad mini coming out on the 23rd. So if you did order an iPad mini, that's coming out on Wednesday, and we should be seeing those M4 Max get announced very soon and released pretty soon as well. So a lot of content is coming to the channel. So if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button down below. But anyways, that's iOS 18.1 RC. Again, stay tuned for the final release video, my What's New video on 18.1, where I walk through every single new feature and change. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. And again, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on those future videos. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.